Welcome to the Witchy Work Wishes podcast, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. Welcome to Witchy Work Wishes. I am your host, Charlene, and today, we are getting down to business. Today we are on episode number 136 of season 4, and we are rolling up our sleeves and talking about our corporate worlds. Because there is a wide echoing space between the world of witchcraft and the world of corporate business. And many of us walk that tightrope every single day. Now, in the witchy community, we are taught to listen to our intuition, honor the cycles of nature, and craft our lives with intention. We embrace stillness, mystery, and meaning. We speak the language of the symbols and signs. We honor emotions, not as distractions, but as messengers. In this sacred space, success is defined by alignment, authenticity, and personal growth. But in the corporate world, things often move fast and linear and loud. The language of business is filled with metrics and margins, KPIs and deadlines. Productivity is prized. Efficiency is worshipped. And intuition, that beautiful ancient voice inside us, well, it's too often just drowned out by meetings and policies and that hum of fluorescent lights. In corporate culture, time is sliced into quarters and task lists. There is little space for the moon, the seasons, or the sacred pause. And for those of us who are witches, who feel energy, who track lunar phases, who sense when something is off in the room before a word is even spoken, this environment can feel like living in translation. We learn early to separate the two selves, right? The one who lights candles and whispers affirmations at dawn, and the one who tightens a blazer and tucks in their power and steps into an office with a smile that, doesn't always reach their soul. But today, I have something else to offer you. What if we don't have to keep them apart? What if being a witch isn't in conflict with being a business owner, a team leader, or a professional? What if the depth that we carry, the quiet knowing, the spellwork of focus and vision, is exactly the kind of leadership the modern world needs? Well, that is what we are diving into for today's topic, and I could not be more excited about this. You guys, I got this. Clearly by the name of our podcast here, right? Witchy Work Wishes. You guys, this is my vibe. This is my area that I can say without hesitation, I got ya. But first, let's do some quick updates, and I will probably get a little teary yet again. I'm sorry, this is like 3 episodes in a row, but oh my gosh, life is coming at me full force. I have been broken down with emotions to a very, very basic core level. If you guys have been with me for the past couple of episodes at least, you know about the litter of kittens that I'm fostering and how I lost 2 of the 6 that I started with. Now, the remaining 4 are doing great. They are gaining weight and they are hitting their little kitten milestones nicely. But the loss of 1 kitten on the first week when it was just a little over a week old, and then another kitten on the second week who was just a little over 2 weeks old at that point, it was brutal. But then, this past week, the time to say goodbye to my aging German Shepherd and one of my own personal cats came front and center. We know, right? We know when it's time. I can say, being a pet owner for many, many years, I have made this call a little too late with some of them, and maybe a tad bit early with one of them. It is a very hard decision to make, but when you remove yourself from the equation, right, your own emotions, your own sense of pending loss, the decision becomes, or can become, very obvious and very clear. What is best for my companion? And you do it. And this past week, I did. I took my 11-and-a-half-year-old dog and one of my cats into my vet and said goodbye. There is no easy way to say goodbye to a soul that has loved you unconditionally, who has, shared your quiet moments and chaotic days, who has become a part of your heart's rhythm, really, right? The bond between a human and a pet is often so quiet in its loyalty. It's super loud in its comfort, but it's woven into the everyday until it becomes just a part of who we are. And when the time comes to say farewell, to let them go with grace and love, it feels impossible, even when we know it is the kindest choice. Euthanasia, I know the word itself sounds clinical and distant, but I believe what it truly means when spoken in this sacred space between a pet and their person is mercy. It is the final act of devotion, the moment when we choose their peace over our own heartbreak. So sitting in that sterile, softly lit room at the vet's office, the world just seems to narrow down to just two beings. It's you and the one who has walked beside you. Fur against hand, eyes that always looked for you first. The choice to let them go is one we make from love, not weakness. It is a choice to end suffering, to offer relief, and to allow them to leave this world with dignity rather than pain. It's not giving up. It's showing up fully, tenderly, courageously for their last moments. There is no right time, I guess. There is only, the time that comes. Suddenly, sometimes, sometimes slowly. We second guess, we hold on a little longer, we look for signs of joy, of appetite, of spark. And then when those fade, we just kind of search for meaning, right? And then we find ourselves holding their paw, whispering promises, brushing our tears into their fur as we, cradle them close. The silence after they're gone is not empty. It is full of memories of love that just still lingers, of the profound absence of a presence that really mattered so truly deeply. Their collar might still jingle on a hook by the door. Their favorite blanket might still be folded in the corner. And the ache? Well, you guys know, right? It just comes in waves. Sometimes it's sharp, sometimes it's dull, but it's always sacred. Grief is love's echo. So choosing to say goodbye at the vet's office doesn't mean you abandoned them. It means you stayed till the very end. It means you carried the weight they couldn't. It means you honored every tail wag, every purr, every head tilt and cuddle with a final act of bravery and care. As my cat drifted off to sleep, I kissed her forehead and I just kept saying over and over again, I love you, thank you. As my dog drifted off to sleep, I kissed his forehead and said over and over again, I love you, thank you. Now in time, the pain will soften, and what remains is the gift that they gave me and my two boys, the loyalty, the companionship, the moments that stitched themselves into my life like golden threads. I will remember the silly habits, the morning greetings, and the way they just knew. They just honestly knew when I was sad. And I will remember how, in the end, I gave them the same devotion they gave me by choosing love over prolonging pain. Goodbye doesn't mean gone. Not really, right? Because love like that doesn't end. It transforms. It waits. It walks beside us still. Ironically, maybe magically, something also happened on that same day. Some days just kind of split your life into before and after, right? You don't see them coming, though maybe your heart had a little whisper of it. You only realize in hindsight when the ache settles in and everything just feels a little more fragile. The day that I said goodbye to my beloved dog and one of my beloved cats was actually one of those days. As I stood in the heartbreak of goodbye, something unexpected happened. That same day, my chicken breeder, someone who I have been in touch with for Hearth and Hen, reached out. And she said, the girls are ready. They can come home. It I don't even, it just felt surreal. Like, how could life possibly go on so swiftly? How could something new be arriving in the very hour that something so precious had left? That's the strange thing, though, right? And the tender truth of our world. Life doesn't wait. It flows forward. It's messy, beautiful. It's unrelenting. Even as we mourn, the sun still rises. Seeds still sprout. And tiny heartbeats still flutter into being. And maybe that's not cruelty. Maybe that's grace, right? The message from the breeder felt like a quiet little nudge from the universe. A hand on my back saying, yes, this is hard. Yes, you are allowed to grieve. And also, here is something soft and new, something that needs you, something that will grow. So knowing soon I will be bringing home the chickens, the girls, I just felt like a ritual of return, not to what was, but to what will be. Their presence won't erase my grief. It will, it'll like walk beside it, right? In the rustle of their feathers, in their curious little eyes, in the way that they will nestle together under the heat lamp. I feel the stirring of something healing, not fixed, by no means fixed, and certainly not forgotten, but like transforming. There is such a beautiful sacredness in beginnings that arrive in the shadow of endings. A nice little reminder that we can hold joy and sorrow in the same breath. That grief is not a stopping point, but a crossing. And that love never leaves. It simply finds new ways to root and bloom. So I am going to take a deep breath. I'm going to walk into this next chapter with tenderness. I carry my dog and my cat's memory in every corner of my heart, and I open that same heart to the little flock now tripping and scratching their way into my story. The hearth is warm and the hens are coming home. Actually, honestly, as this airs on Wednesday the 21st, they should be coming home that day. And life, in all its bittersweet mystery, continues to unfold. So head over to Hearth and Hen. It is a blog on our website. You can see what's happening there, what is unfolding, and soon lots and lots of pictures of the space continuing to get ready for our fall 2025 launch. Speaking of the website, oh my goodness. I got an order last week, or actually, time's a little skewed right now. It might have been the week before, for 16 cat claws. Cynthia, thank you so much for the order. I cannot wait to hear how they work for your spells and your practice. Please reach back out and let me know. Now for our Patreon group, a big welcome to Christina, Celeste, and Natalie, and Krista, who recently joined. I am so happy you are part of the Witchy Work Wishes family. And for everyone listening, really thank you. Whether you are just beginning building your own witchy business or you are a witch, working in the business world, there's a place for you in this community of wise, brave, and beautiful souls. Your support means more than I can say, truly. And the fact that you guys, you let me talk about the raw stuff going on in my life, like what's happened over the past couple weeks. I appreciate you staying with me and coming back each week. Every download that you do, every listen that you have, every pledge that you make helps keep this work alive and allows me to, keep sharing this magic with you and the world. If the episodes light a spark in you, if you felt seen, empowered, or inspired when you're done listening, I would love to invite you, deeper into the circle. Join me on Patreon. Our family is growing. I'm so excited. And it is where the magic continues in all of its layered, intentional, and soul-led glory. Each month, I share exclusive content. We've got spells, journal prompts, rituals, worksheets, and, behind-the-scenes insights for witches walking the path of purpose and power. So thank you. Honestly, thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in this vision. And thank you for being exactly who you are. Your magic is needed. And I like that we get to rise together, spell by spell, step by step. Okay, we're going to switch gears here. Speaking of rising together, today's episode is just about that. It is reclaiming our magic in the business world. It's about owning our ambition and, you know what? Showing up fully, fiercely, and unapologetically as witches who work with purpose. So grab your tea, grab your coffee if you're a coffee drinker like me, light your candle, and let's step into the sacred hustle together. Witches have an intuitive intelligence that cannot be taught in boardrooms. We know how to read energy in a room, how to create containers of transformation, and how to build rituals that create actual change. We bring purpose into process, heart into hustle, and sacredness into systems. Yes, the corporate world can be rigid, but we are fluid. Yes, it can be cold, but we are warm. And when we stop compartmentalizing who we are and start leading with integrity and wholeness, well, guess what? We become something unstoppable. This is the reclamation, not, choosing between being professional and being powerful, but being both at the same time. On purpose. The corporate world taught us how to meet deadlines. Witchcraft teaches us how to meet destiny. We are not too much. We are not too weird. We are not too soft. We are witches, and we are exactly what this world needs. There is a little bit of a tension, I think, that many witches feel. It's the quiet, sometimes gnawing pull between being deeply magical and being deeply ambitious. As witches, we are taught to honor the unseen, to, move slowly with the seasons and to listen to the wind and our dreams. We craft spells with herbs and moonlight. We sit in silence and ask the universe to show us the way. We believe in soul over status, alignment over achievement. And yet, there is this fire inside some of us, a drive, a hunger, a vision. We want to build something real. We want our work to thrive, our voices to matter, and our creations to sustain us. We want to be successful, not just spiritually, but materially. We want to build businesses, attract clients, launch projects, and get promoted, make money. Yes, money. There, I said it. But here is where the tension begins. Because somewhere along the way, many of us were told, or subtly taught, that ambition is unspiritual. That if we were, truly magical, truly devoted, truly, quote unquote, in tune, that we shouldn't care about money. We shouldn't seek success. We should just be, satisfied with just enough. Have you ever felt that way before? That moment of asking for what you deserve and then wondering, ooh, have I somehow betrayed my spiritual path? Here's the truth, you guys. Here's the truth that I have come to know. Ambition is not greed. Wealth is not evil. And business is not unspiritual. Ambition, at its core, is focused intention. And isn't that exactly what magic is for us? As witches, right, we raise energy, we cast circles, we choose a goal and pour our will into it. That is ambition. That is magic. Whether the goal is inner peace or a six-figure revenue, it is the same sacred act. It's a vision plus action plus alignment. And wealth, well, it is a tool. It is a current. It is a form of energy exchange. When placed in the hands of ethical, heart-centered witches, it becomes an amplifier of healing, of justice, of transformation. We need more magical people with access to resources. The world needs spiritually grounded women and men and witches and visionaries at the table. And to get to that table, we cannot be afraid to take up space, to charge what we're worth, and to stand tall in our power. Running a business doesn't make me less, magical. Building systems don't make me less intuitive. Dreaming of abundance doesn't make me less authentic. In fact, the more I embrace my ambition, I believe the more potent my magic becomes. I believe in a new way, a path where witches can build empires with moonlight in our hair and fire in our hearts, where we don't have to apologize for wanting more because we know we will use it wisely, where spreadsheets and spells sit side by side on our desks, where we can be fierce and soft, structured and sacred, wealthy and wildly magic. There is no shame in ambition. There is no shame in success. There is no shame in wanting your magic to support you. All right, let's stop dimming. Let's stop choosing either or. You are allowed to be all of it and more. All right, so you with me? Okay, let's do it. Let's jump into this. And let's go ahead and start with work ethics, because when people hear the term work ethic, I think they often imagine hustle culture, right? Those long hours, constant motion, a never-ending to-do list, and a productivity obsession that leaves little room for breath, let alone magic. It is a concept that has long been tied to capitalism and self-worth, where being busy is worn like a badge of honor and rest is treated like a failure. But as witches, we know better. We know that true power doesn't come from pushing ourselves past the edge. It comes from knowing when to act, when to rest, and when to simply be. Our work ethic doesn't look like the traditional 9-to-5 grind. It looks purposeful and, energy driven. The art of focusing our will, intention, and time into what actually matters. We don't just work harder. We work smarter, softer, and more sacredly. Now, as witches, we are already masters of energy, right? Every spell, every ritual, every intention we set is about taking unseen energy and then pointing it towards a desired outcome. In the same way, our work, whether it's in an office, in a kitchen, in a classroom, a small business, a creative studio, it becomes more powerful when we stop chasing productivity for its own sake and start seeing it as directed magic. Productivity isn't about ticking boxes. It is about asking, hey, where is my energy best spent today? This shift turns your task list into a ritual tool, honestly. It brings reverence into the mundane. Suddenly, answering emails isn't just admin. It is creating clarity. Setting a boundary isn't just about a business move. It's energetic protection. Completing a project isn't just success. It is manifestation in motion. When we reframe productivity as intentional magic, we begin to measure our days not by how much we get done, but by how well we directed our energy towards the life that we are consciously creating. And I believe that is done with, ritual focus and our magical daily practices. We do not wait to feel inspired. We know how to cultivate energy through ritual, whether it is, morning tea started with intention, a candle lit before opening your laptop, or, pulling a tarot card before a big meeting. Magical practices bring presence to our day. They invite your spirit to participate in the work, not just your hands. Ritual creates rhythm. Focus flows structure. So even those small daily spells, a sigil drawn on your planner, a crystal tucked in your pocket, or a blessed whisper over your to-do list, they have the power to shift your mindset from being super scattered to being magically centered. This is how magic strengthens leadership. It helps us become aligned. It helps us become more intuitive and more connected to the why behind the what. The world doesn't need more burnt out bosses or frantic multitaskers. It needs leaders who lead with heart, discernment, and a sense of sacred timing. All right, let's talk about working in cycles, not straight lines. Because in witchcraft, everything is cyclical, right? The moon waxes and wanes, the seasons turn, the elements rise and fall in us. Our energy is really no different. We are not meant to be in full output mode every single day. And yet so many of us have internalized the belief that we must always be on, always producing, always proving our worth through motion. But in the witch's work ethic, I think we honor ebb and flow. We work with our energy, not against it. We respect the quiet seasons just as much as the fertile ones. Rest isn't something that we earn after exhaustion. It is a sacred part of the cycle. This is where we reclaim the deeper truth. Like, doing nothing is sometimes the most magical act of all, because rest refills the cauldron. It's not lazy, it is preparation. All right, one way we can do this in our corporate world is aligning our tasks with moon phases and elements. It is a great way, super great way to supercharge your focus and flow. Try aligning your tasks with the actual moon phases or elemental energies. I think this really is one of the most practical and magical time management tools a witch can use. New moon, set your intentions, brainstorm, plan. This is a great phase for visioning and starting fresh. Waxing moon, take your actions, make your decisions, build your momentum, do the hard, focused work. Full moon, this is a time for, complete projects, launches, presentations, sharing results. This is a high energy outward visibility phase. And then waning moon, right? We get to reflect, declutter, wrap up, edit, release. It is perfect for administration work or letting go. You can also work with the elements. I love these. Air days, this is, your mental clarity type energy, strategy, writing, communication. Fire days, think about these as your motivation days. It's about leadership, public speaking, big moves. Our water days are about emotions and intuitions. This is great for client care, reflection, and creativity. And then earth days are about, stability. It's our admin, our finances, and our structure building days. When we align our work with the natural cycles, I know in my practice, I know things start to flow better. You just stop fighting yourself. You start listening to your body, your spirit, and the world around you. Okay, so how does that translate? Monday. Monday is associated with the moon, and it is the element of water. Again, this is our intuition, our emotions. Think about it for, reflection type work, dream work, and planning those next steps. Tuesday is associated with the planet Mars. This is our fire element. This is our action type day. It's courage, lots and lots of high drive. It is best for, tackling big projects, taking decisive action. It's like your go task type day. Wednesday is associated with the planet Mercury, and this is our air element. This is about communication and learning and agility. So think about looking at your emails, doing meetings on Wednesdays, brainstorming. It's great for short-term planning. Thursdays are associated with the planet Jupiter, and this is really going to be like the spirit type day. Think of it for like vision, abundance, expansion, like the long range strategy, like goal setting and abundance type work. Friday is associated with the planet Venus. This is both earth and water element, working with like harmony, creativity, and relationships. This is a great day for client nurturing, for a little bit of collaboration and creative brainstorming. Saturday is associated with Saturn, and this is an earth element. This is going to be about like our structure, our boundaries, our discipline, right? Saturdays are great for system building, like financial review and deep work. And then Sundays are associated with the sun, and this is our fire and spirit element. Really good for leadership type energy, confidence, and vitality. Great day for presenting, launching, and self-care rituals to recharge for Monday. So I have incorporated the days of the week into my practice for quite a while. I'm not always every single day super loyal to it, but I tie things in. Like when I wake up on Tuesday, I know I am probably going to have red on, or my tan colors, my sun type energy, the fire energy. On Monday, the moon day, I tend to wear grays and more flowing type clothes, and I know what my work day is going to look like. Either way, though, in the end, a witch's work ethic isn't about how much you can produce, right? It's about how deeply you can connect. It's about showing up with presence, protecting your energy, and directing your will like a spell. It's about knowing when to push and when to pause, when to rise with fire, and when to root down to the earth. It's about holding your goals like sacred seeds and trusting the timing of their bloom. So yes, witches do work hard, right? We work hard, but we also work wholly. We are building businesses and movements and lives with purpose. And that, my friend, is magic in its highest form. All right, let's talk about some magical tools for the business witch, because there's nothing mundane about your desk. There's nothing ordinary about your calendar. And there's absolutely nothing unmagical about your workday. You, dear witch, bring your magic wherever you go, including into the world of business. Whether you are running your own brand, climbing the corporate ladder, freelancing on your own terms, or leading a team of visionary change makers, your tools do not stop at pens and spreadsheets. You have another set of tools, subtle, sacred, and powerful. So let's talk about them. Let's name them. Let's celebrate the magical tools of the business witch. First one we have is our office altar, that sacred corner of power. Because even the most corporate, sterile, gray-walled cubicle can be transformed with a little intention. An office altar doesn't have to be big or obvious. It can be discreet and elegant, yet still packed with energetic punch. Ideas for a corporate-friendly altar would be like a small dish of crystals. Pyrite for prosperity, fluorite for focus, or rose quartz for harmony. You could have a plant or a living herb to represent growth and grounding. You could have a cup or a bowl of salt to absorb the unwanted energy. You could have a framed affirmation or a quote that inspires your soul. And you can have a little tea light, battery-powered one if you need, right? If you can't have open flames, but something on your desk or at your work just to symbolize your inner flame. The key is to infuse the space with you, your energy, your purpose, your boundaries. This isn't about decorating. It's about claiming sacred space. So when you sit at your desk, you're not just working. You are crafting and conjuring and commanding your day. Another thing we can do is work with our sigils, like symbols of focus, flow, and fortune. One of the most elegant tools in a business witch's toolkit is the sigil. It is a personal symbol created from intention that channels energy towards a specific purpose, right? Need clarity on a project, need confidence before a presentation, need to stop procrastinating. Well, yes, there's a sigil for that. If you have not done a sigil before, I'm going to walk through the steps to do it. You can draw a sigil in your planner, on the back of a sticky note, on your coffee cup sleeve. Do it under your keyboard. Put a sticky note under your mouse pad. Examples of intentions can be something like, I move through my tasks with clarity and focus. Or maybe you want to have the intention of, abundance flows into my business with ease. Or maybe you have a sigil that says, I speak with power and truth. What you're going to do to create your own sigil is Write out your intention. Then remove vowels and duplicate letters. Combine the remaining letters into a unique design. Charge it with breath, visualization, or fire, and then place it where it can do its quiet work. These small symbols become anchors of intention, like invisible threads connecting your tasks to your goals. Another thing we can do is spells for balance and boundaries, because the modern world loves to blur lines, right, between work and life, rest and hustle, giving and depletion. That's why the business witch must protect their energy, not just their time. So let's talk about a couple of spells that we can use for balance and boundaries. Spell number 1 is going to be a work-life harmony jar. I have used this. I love this one, and it is super, super easy to make. You just need a small jar with rose petals for, self-love, some mint for our mental clarity, and then lavender for peace. Add a piece of paper with the words, "I balance creation and restoration with ease." Keep it near your workspace, put it under your desk. Shake it gently before and after your workday to set an energetic boundary. We also can do one for some boundaries because we know there are energy vampires out there. This one is like an energy vampire shield. And basically, we're just going to anoint the soles of our feet with rosemary oil or some type of protective blend before walking into work. Visualize the energy coming up like a shimmering bubble around you, like a mirror-like shield that reflects negativity but lets inspiration pass through. Say something like, "I am rooted and protected. What is not mine returns to the source." This isn't about being guarded, it's about being sovereign, right? You are allowed to protect your magic from people, places, and patterns that drain you. All right, we can also work with like enchanted planters, some money bowls, and some tea rituals, because it is always fun to enchant the practical. Turn your planner into a magical artifact, like each week. Set a spell for the week. Example, like this week it's going to be about focus. This week it's going to be about expansion, or this week it's going to be about patience. Use some type of special tape, do some color coding, or crystal paper clips aligned to your goals. Some type of piece that is magical. Include moon phase icons, elemental notes for energy alignment, anything that's going to make your planner become like more than a tool. Like it is a spell book in disguise. We can also do a prosperity money bowl. Little desk edition for it, but a small bowl filled with coins, a rolled up $2 bill, cinnamon sticks, and a piece of citrine. Grab it and whisper your financial goals into the bowl weekly. Refresh it with herbs or new coins each full moon. This bowl is a signal, right? You are open to aligned abundance. And then a tea ritual is really easy to do at the office or at your work. Before work, even if you can't, while you're getting ready for your work day, or maybe it's when you come home after your work day. Prepare a tea with intention. Peppermint's great for mental clarity. Lemon balm is wonderful for peace. Ginger is really good for motivation. And then honey, of course, if you like honey or agave, it's just a nice little kick for, just to kind of sweeten our communication. As it steeps, breathe deeply and just say, hey, with each sip, I call in focus, flow, and fulfillment. And then enjoy. Sip slowly. Start your day on your own frequency, or break your day in the middle with power, not your inbox's emotional direction. Either way, if you like some of those options, you like all of them, don't forget that you are the most powerful tool of all. At the end of the day, magical tools are not crutches. They are mirrors. They reflect the power that you already hold, the energy that you are choosing to align with, and the vision that you are nurturing into form. Whether you are managing spreadsheets, maybe you are launching spells, your tools help you stay sacred in the system. They help you remember that you are not just building a business or a career, you're building a life that honors your magic. So place your crystals, draw your sigils, brew your tea, enchant your planner. You are not playing office. You are anchoring light, crafting legacy, and leading with both intuition and intention. Because you, dear business witch, you were never meant to fit the mold. You were meant to refine it. All right, let's talk about success. Because it is a word that's been wrapped in gold and shackled in comparison. We are told what it should look like, a certain income bracket, a particular lifestyle, a polished image with a never-ending checklist of accomplishments. But for witches, for soul-led, heart-centered, intuitive creators, that version of success often feels hollow, unreachable, or worse, irrelevant. Because we feel deeply, because we listen differently, because our path doesn't follow a straight line. It spirals, it pulses, it dances with the moon. So I think we need to ask ourselves, what does success look like when we stop letting the outside world define it for us, right? So let's talk about that. Let's talk about redefining prosperity, like our witchy wealth. To many, I think prosperity means wealth, money in the bank, booked out calendars, sold out launches. But witches know, right? We know that true prosperity is energetic. It's waking up with clarity. It's working with clients who light you up. It's knowing your time is sacred and your voice matters. It's feeling free, inspired, supported, and connected. Yes, we want money. We can want money. It's okay to want money. And yes, we can call it in with spells and strategy and sacred offerings. But money is just one piece. It's a tool, a current. It's not the whole picture. Prosperity might mean more time for rituals and family, saying no to draining projects. It might mean building a business with soul instead of speed. Or maybe it means, feeling emotionally resourced and spiritually aligned. So before chasing anyone else's vision of success, pause, breathe, ask, what does prosperity look like for me in my body, my soul, in my day-to-day life? Use magic to check in with yourself, right? Which is, we don't just set goals, we consult the soul. Before you build another offer or launch another idea or pivot your path, sit with your cards, light a candle, open up your journal. Ask yourself, what am I truly craving? What part of me wants to be expressed this season? And is this desire mine or something I've absorbed? You can use a simple tarot spread, right, to ask. Do a 3-card pull. First card can be what success currently means to me. Second card, what my soul actually desires. And then your third card, how can I align my path to that truth? All right, you are allowed to shift, right? To dream again, to root deeper into your own definition of thriving. Now, I know I touched on this topic earlier, but I really feel it is an important one to discuss. And that is the ability to release the shame around wanting more. Many witches carry a silent shame when it comes to ambition. We've been told that wanting money is greedy, wanting visibility is ego, wanting growth means we've sold out. Here's my truth. I'm going to share it. Wanting more isn't shameful. It is expansive. Wanting more clients doesn't mean you are ungrateful. Wanting a raise doesn't mean you've lost your integrity. Wanting your work to support your lifestyle doesn't make you less spiritual. You can be magical and successful. You can be humble and ambitious. You can love the earth and drive a new car. The key is how you walk your path with intention, integrity, and awareness. Abundance, it is not about hoarding, right? It's about flow. It's about money and time and energy moving through your life in a way that supports your joy, your nervous system, your values, and your community. Ethical abundance means, charging in alignment with your time, skill, and worth. Offering accessibility without self-sacrifice. Donating, mentoring, or giving back from a full cup, not from burnout. And saying yes with your whole heart and no with your full sovereignty. Boundaries are not blocks to abundance. They are like little containers that hold it. And I'll tell you, a witch with a strong boundary is a witch who thrives. And don't forget, your success is sacred. You don't need to make 6 figures to be successful. You don't need a giant audience to make an impact. You don't need to look polished and be perfect or hustle like a machine. You are allowed to define success in ways that honors your spirit. You are allowed to grow at your pace. And you are allowed to want more. It's okay to want more, not from a place of lack, but from a deep knowing that you are ready to bloom. So I say go ahead, write your own spell for success, craft your own metrics, celebrate your own milestones. Because when a witch defines success on their own terms, let's go, watch out, they become unstoppable. That, my friend, is a kind of magic that no system can contain. I would like to say to every witch listening right now, whether you are quietly crafting spells in the corners of your day or boldly building a life steeped in ritual and vision, I really want to remind you of something essential. The world needs your magic. Not someday, not when you're more confident, and not when your practice feels like perfect. Not when your business is bigger or your altar is cleaner or your resume sounds fancier. Right now, just as you are, magic and all. There is something deeply radical about choosing to live and work with intention in a world that demands speed and conformity and endless productivity. And as witches, we've always known that power lies in, not in doing more, but in doing it with purpose. And that includes your work. So I want to say this clearly. Bring your witchiness to work. Let it live in your resume. Let it shape your goals. Let it walk into that interview room or leadership meeting with you. Let it infuse your brand, your voice, your work rhythms. Let your witchiness guide how you manage your team, how you write emails, how you dream up your next offer. You are allowed to be both mystical and strategic. You are allowed to mix incense and income. You are allowed to cast spells and send invoices in the same breath. Because working with intention is spell work, right? It's the moment you light a candle before starting your day. It's the breath that you take before answering that difficult message. It is the clarity you bring to your own goals, your own boundaries, your personal vision. When you operate from that sacred place, that place of alignment and magic, you don't just do your job. You honestly transform the space around you. You shift the energy. You soften the chaos. You create little pockets of permission for yourself and for others to be more, more whole, more honest, more human. And let's be honest, we've been told far too long that success and magic do not mix. That in order to rise, we have to shrink our soul. That in order to be taken seriously, we have to hide the most sacred parts of ourselves. Yeah, I'm not having it. I'm here to tell you success doesn't mean selling out. Success can mean showing up all the way. Success can look like being visible in your truth, like claiming your worth, like building a business or career that feels like a reflection of your spirit, not a betrayal of it. Let yourself take up space, mystical, magical, meaningful space in the places that need it most. The boardrooms, the break rooms, the client phone calls, the interviews, the leadership circles. because the world is just aching for more people who move with soul. It's aching for voices that disrupt the noise with grounded wisdom. It's aching for rituals, for reverence, and little reminders of what matters. So I say light your candles, right? Write your goals like spells. Bring your sigils to your spreadsheets. Drink your moon tea before your meetings. Trust your gut in the negotiations. Let your presence be the magic, because it is. You don't have to leave your magic at the door. You were born to bring it into the corporate world too. And the world, this tired, hungry, beautiful world, needs it now more than ever. So I say let's show up, not get smaller, not become quieter, but show up full of power, full of magic, and fully, gloriously as you are. All right, my friends, next week we have a deeper dive into the money magic and working in and honestly building witch-led businesses. Today is part 1 of 2 parts that I'm going to be talking about the business witch. And I can't wait to jump into next week's topic with you. For now, though, I do have a poem specifically with this witchy work energy. And of course, I've got the moon update for this week. I am so glad you are here with me today. I'm going to go grab those notes and I will be right back. All right, let's start with my witchy business poem for this week. And it goes. I stir my tea with purpose. Plans whispered into steam. My desk, a sacred altar. My goals, a living dream. I cast my spells in silence, with spreadsheets, pens, and light. I build with will and rhythm, not just hustle, not just fight. A sigil marks my planner, each task a thread I weave. My magic moves through meetings, more potent than they believe. They say success is selling out, a race you're meant to run. But I define it differently, alignment with the sun. I bring my craft to contracts, my fire to the form. The system doesn't shake me. I conjure my own norm. Intentions bloom like wild herbs in circles I create. My business is my altar. My schedule spells my fate. The world may not be ready for magic in high heels, but still I rise, still I build. On truth the soul reveals. So may your work be sacred, your worth held firm and wide. For witches don't just follow paths, we lay the stars as guide. All right, let's see our moon update for this week of May 21st. Well, she's in her last quarter phase, and we do have a dark moon coming up. But for now, the last quarter moon, also sometimes called the third quarter moon, it holds a unique and introspective energy. It is, the time in the lunar cycle when the moon appears like half lit again, but this time in a waning form, shrinking in its illumination as we approach the dark moon and the new moon ahead. This phase is often quieter, but it is a great time for reflection. It is a great time to identify what is no longer serving you, habits, fears, limiting beliefs, outdated goals, and, gently begin to release them. Think of it as an energetic composting. The moon is diminishing, and so we can let go of the weight that we've been carrying. Burn or bury lists of what you're ready to release. Do a cord cutting ritual with visualization or string and scissors. Journal about patterns that you are done repeating. This is an ideal week for just lightening your load. Clean your home. Finish those lingering tasks and clear energetic clutter with smoke, maybe some cleansing bells, or salt. Smudge your workspace or altar. Unsubscribe from things that clutter your inbox or calendar. And clean out a drawer, clean out a room, clean out your car. Make space for the new moon to bring fresh energy. There is no need to rush. The moon is about integration. We've passed through the action of the full moon, and now we are invited to reflect and realign again. Meditate on what you've learned since the last new moon. Do less. Rest more. Turn inward. Reflect on how your recent actions align with your values. The last quarter moon holds kind of that like wise woman, elder crone energy of the lunar cycle. It is a time for honest truth telling within ourselves. So work with oracle or tarot decks for self-inquiry. Spend time in solitude or nature. Invite insight through dreams or intuitive writing. Some shadows or emotional truths may surface, right? This isn't bad. This is the moon gently pulling them out so we can acknowledge, love, and transmute them. Journal on what is triggering you right now. Do a mirror ritual or self-dialogue practice. Thank your shadows for what they've taught you and set, the attention to evolve. Last quarter moon is about an invitation just to kind of slow down and listen, right? She asks us to be honest, intentional, and courageous in our release. It's not a flashy moon, but it is a deeply powerful one that is really, really rich with wisdom. Okay, my witchy family, next week, we pick up right where we left off today for part 2 of the Business Witch series. I cannot wait to talk with you then, but for now, I really hope the rest of this week is great for you and you have an amazing weekend. I will talk with you next week. Thank you for joining me today at Witchy Work Wishes, a place to find your weekly inspiration for bringing your personal witchcraft practice into your business, work, and office. For more information and additional content, please visit me online at witchyworkwishes.com. If you want to send me a personal note, please email me at info@witchyworkwishes.com. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Witchy Work Wishes.